Welcome to the Care for Kupuna podcast, where we dive into health, wellness, and vibrant living of our cherished kupunas. We are thrilled to take you on a journey exploring everything from health and wellness tips, deeply rooted in the spirit of Hawaii, to navigating the intricacies of retirement, preserving our rich culture heritage, and fostering vibrant communities for our elders.
Whether you're a kupuna yourself, a family member, a dedicated caregiver, or simply someone passionate about supporting and uplifting our elders, this podcast is for you. Each episode is crafted with love and the intention to inspire, inform, and celebrate the golden years. So sit back, relax, and join us on this meaningful journey as we care for our kupuna. Welcome to this week's episode on Care for Kupuna, where we care for kupuna. I'm Trina.
And I'm Lani.
And we are your Kupuna Care Girls. And today we want to take the time to introduce you folks to our marketing director, social media manager, our podcast editor, just everything digital under the sun, Michael Curry, here today. Hi, Michael.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Michael.
I know we talked about doing this a few months back, and now it's finally here. So this is exciting. I'm excited to be on the other side of this. So.
Well, thank you for coming. And just so everybody gets to know you, how did you first connect with the host for Care for Kupuna?
Interesting. So, guys, we've been friends since, heck, I was literally thinking about this earlier. I think it was 2022, Trina?
Yeah, I think so.
Me and you met through your Medicare business. We connected, and I was pretty much doing a lot of the stuff I'm doing for Care for Kupuna for you and your Medicare business. And then, of course, you being best friends with Lani, I got introduced to her, started working with Lani and her Medicare. And then January of this year, well, last year, wow, it's been a year. So January of 2024, we all, at that point, we're all friends working together and all that stuff. But you guys had this brilliant idea of doing a podcast. And that is one thing I admire. And I've told you guys this. That's one thing I admire about you two is y'all said you were going to do something. And sure enough, first episode was launched a month later. I thought that was incredible. It was almost inspiring because a lot of people will say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Sometimes it never really happens, but you guys did it. So I thought that was super cool. And I was super grateful to kind of join that ride. And here we are a year later. And now I get to be a host. Now I get to be a guest speaker on it. And anyways, I mean, yeah, it just kind of manifests, and I was just part of the ride.
Well, what do you remember the first conversation that we had about working together? What stood out to you about working with us for Care for Kupuna?
Well, first off, you two are awesome people, fun people to work with. You make my job enjoyable, and also I think it's a resource that was needed. Especially for you guys in your community. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. Let me help out any way I can. And the thing is, like, I've never done any sort of podcast related stuff. So it's also an opportunity for me to like jump into this whole new way of delivering content, exposing yourself. Right. So I got to learn a lot along the way while helping you guys too. So there's that. But yeah, more importantly, just kind of your guys' mission, being a part of that it's pretty cool.
Nice. And how would you describe working with us behind the scenes? Any kind of be free to share anything funny, memorable?
Well, first off, it's really not work. I mean, it's like it's fun. It's funny. But you guys, I think, we just seem to figure stuff out. Like I know in the beginning, what I love so much is like we all collectively put our heads together, and what I really want people to know. Me and Lani, our backs are so sore. We do all the work. It's incredible. But listen, Trina, she's the brains behind it all. She has the ideas and she throws them out there. And me and Lani are like, that's a really good idea. Like we got to do it.
Yeah, Trina is very creative.
Trina's the brains of the operation, and then me and Lani, we get in the trenches and get our hands dirty and we execute. But it works. It's so funny. I get Trina. I give you a hard time about it, but I think that's just the cool part. We seem to all really we work well together, and I think it's a lot of fun. So and to us, like when things come up or there's hurdles, we adjust quickly. And I think that's what makes us successful and good at what we
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I agree. And what's one thing you've learned about your host that you think our audience would like to hear about?
do.
Or, something you learned about us that was surprising and you think our audience would want to know?
Well, about you guys, I'll twist this question around. You guys are great teachers. I've learned a couple cultural Hawaiian things because I'm just some dude. I'm just some dude from Tennessee working with you guys, and I've learned so much, and I've had so much fun. And like, what is it? Trina's a tutu. Did I say that right?
No.
Yeah,
No.
I'm not editing this part out. No. I'm just kidding. But no, as far as you guys, I think one thing with Trina is I really want to be sarcastic, but I won't. One thing with Trina is, by God, if she works more than 5 days in a week, there's something big going on. Then me and Lonnie, we're grinding 7 days a week. No,
we're the crazy ones. We're the crazy ones.
we're the crazy ones who don't really sleep. And see, Trina, like I told you, Trina has it all figured out. She's the brains of the operation. She's got it figured out. I admire Trina for that. But no, I think really it's just there's a lot of I think there's a lot of love, and I think people feel it through the podcast. I think Lonnie, people got to experience your big heart, especially with the passing of your dad. I thought that was such an emotional time for you, and I think it really kind of connected everyone and our followers and our listeners. So people got to experience Lonnie's amazing heart. And Trina, I always say, Trina, your voice on the microphone is like top notch, like it's the best. And I think people get to feel Trina's sweetness through her voice, right? So there's like the stuff they're feeling through the episodes, like it's genuinely who you guys are, right? So just it's everything they're hearing. It's authentic. It's you guys, and I think that's what I value the most, and what I think people should take away most from Trina and Lonnie is what you're hearing through your headphones when you're listening to the podcast, seeing them on Instagram. It's their true, authentic self, and I think it's really beautiful.
Thank you, Michael. That was a great connection to our next section, which is personal connection to the mission. Do you have any personal experiences or family connections that make the mission of supporting kupuna especially meaningful for you?
That's interesting. And I may have told you guys about this, but I have a grandmother who's like 84. I should know, but she's 84. She lost her husband, my grandfather, in a car accident about 3 years ago. And it's one of those things where, as I've learned about y'all's mission, Care for Kupuna, and the caregivers, and I think one of our episodes here in January is with Savvy, right, from Give Me a Break, and she talks a lot about caregiving. Kind of learning that stuff and seeing what my grandmother has gone through with the loneliness, and now, as of the past 6 months, there's been a bit of a health issue where my mom has to step in and now be a caregiver. Like, it's actually kind of hitting close to me now with everything I've been doing with you guys, the messaging, the community we're helping. I'm now experiencing that firsthand with my grandma, my mom, and it's neat because now it's like I have resources where I could provide her, some information and education I could provide my mom. But it definitely hits home as of recently. So it makes definitely working with Care for Kupuna even more meaningful for me.
Wow. Yeah, that's so true. What's the common misconception to seniors? Do you think brands overlook this audience?
The reason we started Care for Kupuna, right? I don't think there's enough resources out there. So yeah, I think it's fair to say that they are overlooked. The awareness, the education needed for Care for Kupuna, it's an overlooked topic, but again, I think that's what's so special about us is, we're trying to be on the forefront of that. We're trying to change that narrative through our podcast and things we do in the community. But yeah, I think it is fair to say that, unfortunately, but we can change that.
And I think you answered this question, but is there a particular episode or topic we've covered that resonated with you on the personal level?
it's so I always take something from all of them. Like even like the most recent one, the Social Security changes. I think, oh, okay, interesting. Let me go share this with so and so. Right? Like, I have the luxury of pulling something from every episode, but trying to think one in particular. I mean, I don't know. I think I bring it up again, like the whole when Lonnie was spilling her heart out with her dad. I felt that was, to me, that was a turning point in the podcast and the brand, because people like to connect and realize that we're authentic, real people, and us being able to show that. I felt there was a huge connection with the community when that happened, and to me, even like that makes my work for Care Kapuna even more passionate, knowing that like how deep the roots run, and just being able to provide what I can to really make this story come to life. So I guess to answer your question, honestly, guys, it's every episode. I get to sit there, edit it, listen to them, and I pull something, right? So it's neat.
Nice. And so behind the scenes moment, can you share behind the scenes story that captures the heart and humor of working on this podcast?
Behind the scenes type of humor stuff, I get a lot of enjoyment out of seeing the reels you guys send my way. And I think without a doubt, the best one is the Christmas reel of you guys swaying back and forth and dropping. One of y'all had a water bottle. The other one had like a hand sanitizer.
Yes.
I mean, that right there.
Improvised mic drops.
Yeah. I mean, that right there, kind of that type of stuff. That stuff's just, that's funny. I think that just sums up how much fun we have doing this. So I would say just the behind the scenes, creating the reels, coming up with the ideas, that's definitely the most enjoyable part.
So what's the most unexpected part of managing and marketing for a podcast like this?
I would say when we start the management, like when we start opening the doors to other brands, and all of a sudden our platform gets to a point where we can sponsor, advertise brands can come to us. I think when we started that venture, right, when we incorporated our sponsorship packaging, working with other brands, I think there is a lot more involved, right? So there's a lot more moving parts. And I remember even in the beginning, like us setting up systems and knowing what needs to be done, setting timelines. So getting that all in the loop was that was something that I think we all overlooked, but we all put our heads together. We figured out a system, and I think we have almost 10 to 12 trusted partners now for Care for Kapuna. But point is, when we start bringing in other brands, when we did that was a bit of an adjustment and learnings. But then there's a flip side of it where it's like, this is actually helping brands. This is a great opportunity for these people, for the community. So just once we started going down that avenue, that's when things to me like got really interesting. And I mean, now it's leading us to, I believe we're able to say this, our expo happening in October of 2025, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that going down that route has now opened the doors to us hosting our first ever expo in October, which I'm going to try my hardest, bring the family out there and participate in it. I think it's going to be a blast, but I know there's more information to come on that. We'll have a huge announcement about it, but yeah, I think whenever we start incorporating other brands, that's when it gets interesting, and you realize how much impact this can actually lead to.
Yeah. And so on the personal growth and challenges, what's one skill or lesson you've gained from working on the Care for Kapuna that you didn't expect?
I mean, like I said earlier, podcasting. I've never dabbled with it, never started it. It's a skill I've never really, of course I knew how to market everything, but like as far as editing, producing, this, all that, like I learned and I did it. And so that was all very new to me. But as I learned, I was, like I said, I was inspired, and I told my wife, I said, we should start a podcast. and I now know how to do it, and we can do it. But to me, that just learning that, I thought like benefited me the most. But yeah.
Okay, quickly, if the Care for Kapuna team took a group trip to brainstorm, it would be fun to brainstorm marketing ideas. Yeah.
Okay.
To brainstorm marketing ideas, where would you want us to go and why?
I would definitely need you guys to come to Nashville, Tennessee, so I can just show you all the cattle towns, show you a bunch of farm animals. We'll go to Pennington. I'll expose you to my country lifestyle. It'll be really great. And then we'll get a nice place, a nice cabin on a big barn dominium. And
that'd be awesome.
I would have to bring you guys to the countryside for sure.
Where Hawaii meets Tennessee.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. So looking back on everything we've built together, it's coming a year. How do you feel about the impact we're making for our kupuna and the community?
I mean, just hearing from you guys, hearing like, oh, so-and-so, heard the podcast or listened to this, heard it from this. Like, I think that to me is the most rewarding. And I think we're going in the right direction. And I think there was a lot of success in year one. And as we head into year two, as we heard in previous podcasts, a couple podcasts ago, we have some pretty big goals we want to hit. So I think everything is going in the right direction. And again, just feeding off what you guys are hearing from the community, it sounds like it's really making an impact. So that's really encouraging.
Yeah, it's so nice to hear from our clients when they say, hey, I listened to your podcast, or they look forward to listening to whatever the topic is. And even people who aren't connected to us, they see us on social media. So we're so blessed. What's your biggest hope for the future for Care for Kupuna and how we can continue serving our community?
My hopes is to, I want Care for Kupuna to be the go-to brand for just the number one resource for kupunas, for caregivers. And I think we joked about it at the beginning, but I want you guys to have a billboard. I want there to be a Care for Kupuna billboard. I really want the brand to build into something super special to where we are known in the state of Hawaii as the go-to resource. And people, when they say the Kupuna Care Girls, they know exactly who you're talking about, I think. So just building the brand, building awareness, and most importantly, actually providing valuable, resourceful information to the community and helping people.
So true. And we are so blessed. Michael, thank you for joining us and for being part of our Care for Kupuna Ohana. We are truly like family, and we are so blessed to have you on board. I say we are like family because he's like my little brother from another mother and another father. He's my little brother that I look up to because he's taller than me. But thank you to our listeners for joining us on another episode of Care for Kupuna, where aloha meets wisdom, one podcast at a time. Until next time, mahui ho.
Ahoy ho.
Mahalo for joining us on this episode of Care for Kupuna, where we explore health, wellness, and vibrant living for our cherished kupunas. We hope you found inspiration and valuable insights.
Remember, your support can make a difference. 20% of all proceeds from our podcast go to a nonprofit organization here in Hawaii dedicated to helping seniors in our community. If you'd like to contribute, visit our website at www.carewithak4kupuna.com and make a donation.
Are you a brand or business looking to align with our mission? Consider sponsoring our podcast. Visit our website for more information on sponsorship opportunities.
For those with stories to share, we invite you to be a guest speaker on our podcast. Head over to our website to express your interest and become part of the conversation.
Last but not least, stay connected with us by subscribing to our email list and following us on social media at Care for Kupuna with a K. Join the Care for Kupuna community to stay updated on all things related to health, culture, and creating vibrant communities for our elders.
We appreciate your time and look forward to welcoming you back on the next episode of Care for Kupuna.